Welcome to the Release Your Blocks podcast. I am your host, Victoria Bond. I am a spiritual empowerment coach. I help teach others to show up to their potency so they can fulfill their mission here on earth. I am so glad you are here. And if you are interested in becoming a medium, if you're interested in becoming a life coach, or if you're interested in shifting your life from the 3D to live more in the 5D reality, then check me out, book a clarity call, and let's get chatting. Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of Release Your Blocks. So I was telling a friend the other day about when I first heard the word starseed. And I spent a couple of minutes telling her the story, and she said, "Oh my goodness, this is such a good story. I would love to hear the whole version. So maybe you should do a podcast about it." And I was like, okay, well, since you're the podcast queen and you think it's a good topic, I'll go for gold. So here is the story. About, I think it was like, oh my goodness, probably 5 years ago, I really was keen to go to this energy shifting workshop. And it cost about $250. And I just thought, oh my goodness, I just do not have that type of money. There's no way I can go to that. But I was kind of on this journey of self-discovery, coming out of depression and exhaustion after hitting burnout and postnatal depression, and coming into the self-discovery as I could feel spirit around. I'm pretty sure I could see angels flying around. I wasn't quite sure if I was crazy or if I was like gifted. So I was trying to find out. Anyway, I really wanted to go to this energy shifting workshop. I didn't know what it was, but I felt kind of drawn to it. And one day my sister said, "You're not going to believe this." So the guy who's doing the workshop, they're leaving the country, and he wants to do a workshop for Taranaki to say thank you for having him here. And it's going to be free. It's going to be bring a donation if you want. So I thought, oh, wow, awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm so going to go. So left the kids at home with Luke and basically was like, okay, cool. I'm going to go to this. I'm going to take some time out for myself. I was like, I can afford $40. So I'll give it, it was quite a lot of money for me back then. So I was like, oh, I'll give him a donation for this. It's the first time I ever heard about what chakras were. This was only 5 years ago. I had no idea what he was talking about. And I've told the story before how all of my chakras, all my energy meridians were out apart from the third eye and the crown, which made perfect sense because I could see spirit and I felt like I was not even a part of planet Earth. In other words, I wasn't very grounded. And he talked about all sorts of things, from giants to demons to attachments to entities. And the first time I'd heard of it, so I was more, Jesus, God, Mary, heaven, hell, purgatory, Christ rising again. That was what I was brought up with. So hearing about giants and demons and entities and how they can affect our auras and chakras and stuff was actually pretty out there for me. So I'm asking him lots of questions and all these types of things. And I was like, oh, wow, this is so strange. And he did a clearing on us, which meant he basically cleared any energies and entities that were possibly attached to us or around us that were no longer serving us. And I had quite a few because I was in exhaustion. Therefore, a lot of the time, what happens is if you are really, 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 really tired and you're weak and you've been sick or you're on meds or you've done drugs or anything like that, it's like it weakens your energetic system. Therefore, energies can kind of attach to you and kind of use you as a battery, which drains you even more. So it's, now I'm an energy clearer. This is what I do for a job. I clear people that work with me all the time. So anyway, that was like all very, very interesting. I was kind of like, whoa, like I don't know how I feel about this, but it feels so right, but it sounds so far-fetched. So anyway, it was a few days later, the guy who ran the whole workshop, he said to me, "Hey, can I give you a call? It's like I want to tell you about." And I was like, really? Okay. So I jumped on the call and he said, "Look, I noticed that when I was clearing you, that you are a starseed." And I was like, what the fuck is a starseed? What are you talking about? That sounds a bit too woo-woo. And he actually explained to me that at birth, these starseeds get these attachments at birth and nobody else gets them apart from these starseeds. And it's something that once is cleared, they can go forth and do their purpose on Earth. And so I sat there listening to him. I had a friend with me And I was like, this is just like really, really out there. And I said, so you're saying that I'm from another planet? And he's like, yeah, essentially. I'm like, and you're saying I'm an alien? And he's like, well, yeah. And I'm like, and it's so normal for him. And I was just like, I just don't know how I feel about this. This is so, like so out there. I've been brought up like religious. I don't know. Like, and I was just, as you can imagine, I was like, what? And then over the next few days, I said to him, look, I'll just sit on this, I think. I'll just sit on this and see how I feel about it. And the weirdest thing kept happening to me. Because all of my chakras were now aligned, because I'd been to the energy clearing workshop, I felt a bit different, to be completely honest with you. But I started noticing that I could actually manipulate energy, and my thoughts were becoming reality, and I started really, really tapping in. But the craziest thing was I kept hearing these voices saying, like, you are a starseed, you are a starseed. But what if you are a starseed? Would you acknowledge that you're a starseed? What about the aliens, thinking the aliens were evil because that's what was in the Bible or whatever, I thought. And then I was like, oh my God, I resonate with this whole starseed alien thing and planet thing. And I've always looked at the stars in the sky and gone, oh my gosh, I want to go home. I don't want to be here anymore. And I'd be like, what are you doing, weirdo? Like, why are you looking at the stars going, I want to go home. Why am I here? This feels so foreign to me. I feel like I don't belong. I feel like I just landed here on Earth type of thing. Yeah, so I messaged him and I said, I think you're right. I don't know, but I think I am a starseed. And then I started going on this massive hunt. And I see a lot of people waking up and they do the same thing. They just start consuming and researching and just really consuming everything they possibly can. And this is a part of the process, really, because you want to engulf as much information as possible and then weave through it and then kind of throw some bits out and take some on. And there's no right or wrong. It just is what resonates with you. That's what I want to make very clear as well, because a lot of people are looking for truth. And then they want to share the truth like I did. And it becomes a little bit of an obsession because it's something new and exciting and you've just realized that your reality is completely changed. So I went on this hunt to find that truth. But what I did find was my truth. And I do very much resonate with galactic. And I do very much resonate with the planets and mermaids and energy and conscious speaking and manifestation and being a part of God, a part of Source, having soul streams and soul mates and connection with the earth and the universe and all of that, what, I used to call new age stuff that was quite out there, things that weren't in my reality. I didn't know people like this. If I did, then they wouldn't talk to me about this because we wouldn't get it, right? We wouldn't resonate together. So the reason why I wanted to share this with you is because if something new and exciting lands and someone says, did you know you're a starseed? And you're like, what is a starseed? But would you just consider that you're from another planet and you've got a mission here on Earth? That could be enough to awaken someone up. And there's this fine line, but they say a fine line between insanity and sanity, or whatever. Like, the truth is, I felt like I nearly lost the plot. Like, I honestly felt like I was so close to losing the plot when nobody around you resonates, when people are starting to look at you crazy and you're getting that reflection back to you. You have to ask a question, am I doing everything to my fullest potential right now for the highest good of the world and the universe, myself and the collective? Because when you come up against resistance, especially when it's about being right or wrong, you have to take into consideration that maybe there is no right or wrong. Maybe there's just your truth. And my truth was I was a starseed, and I would tell anyone that was willing to hear about it. My sisters were like, okay, you've just gone next level. It's a little bit crazy. I told a couple of people, I was getting these whispers of, that one's a starseed, that one's a starseed, that one's a starseed. I was like a starseed hunter. So I'd be walking down the street and I'd be like, oh my God, that person's a starseed. And it was always people that I resonated with, and I was connecting into their soul. So I was literally recognizing them. And I made that significant rather than just making that a part of the flow of life. I wonder what else is possible with, connecting with that person on a soul level. Now I know I can connect with them on a soul level without even knowing them. I just connect in. But it was really interesting. I'd be hairdressing, I'd get these voices going, oh my God, that person there, this person's a starseed. And I'd say, have you ever felt like you don't belong? Have you always looked up at the sky wondering when you can go home and, has this happened to you, this happened to you, this happened to you, this happened to you, this happened to you? And they'd go, yes, 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 yes. And I go, how do you feel when I say the word starseed? And I had like literally a couple of people like burst out crying and go, oh my God, I feel like you've just seen me. And I was like, you're not alone. We're here for a mission. And, you know, at first, even when I'm saying this, it makes me feel slightly uncomfortable because, you know, now it's just my norm. I go to the beach, I ground, I come back to myself, I do the unsexy work so then I can expand my capacities in the world and live from joy and love and expansion and abundance, not scarcity or fear or right or wrong, good and bad, or, you know, judgment or considerations. I really just function from what else is possible in this reality. Who can be sent to me to awaken, and who can I be around to expand me and awaken me even more? So it is just such an interesting time. It is such an interesting time. And, you know, I was once a pusher of, if I know the truth, you have to know it too. But what I really didn't realize was everyone resonates to different parts of the truth. You know, some people love details. Since I've been a life coach and I've learned all about human code of behavior and emotions and stuff, you know, there's different personality profiles. There's different human design. I've learned about that in the last few months, and my life has changed like hugely because now I understand my human more and I understand my mission and my being. And am I a starseed? Of course I am. You know, like there's some people that say some people are starseeds, some people are not. I believe that we're all with different human designs and we've all come down here from somewhere and we're here right now on purpose for a particular reason. Now, if you're going to try and fight to find that, then you're missing the point. But if you allow yourself to receive it, you will be downloaded with all of it. And, you know, if we can stop functioning just from the physical and start functioning more from the energetic and knowing that you will download the information in your meditations and knowing that if you are researching, the exact right things will pop up for you. You will research and things will come up. Not everything will be massively resonating and the algorithm will dictate what comes up on your feed. Just keep that in mind as well. There's this whole kind of, you know, computer thing trying to rule you at the moment. So be aware of what is controlling you and just become more aware, coming back to yourself, coming back to nature, coming back to meditating and coming back to taking responsibility for yourself and your knowing, because everything is within you. And that day that I went and found out that I was a starseed and what chakras were, and it was the very basics of energy stuff, was that one day that changed my entire life. Now, if I say the chakra is this, if someone said, what is a chakra? I'd be like, oh my gosh, you don't know what a chakra is. Because I thought everyone knows what it is. But I've only known what they are for the last 5 years. You know, I wasn't doing mediumship 5 years ago. I didn't have a program called Magnificent Mediumship 5 years ago, or Release Your Blocks, or a podcast. I didn't even know what a podcast was. But we're here to rule and to guide and to download and to integrate and to allow ourselves to be from non-judgment, no judgment, but more from awareness and consciousness, which means that your knowing is much stronger than the beliefs that you've been told to believe or the morals that you've been told to follow. You know, they could have been very well serving you as you're growing up. But what is your truth? If I went and told some people they were aliens and they came from another planet, they'd go, yeah, it doesn't resonate. And maybe it doesn't resonate because that's not what they're here for. Maybe they are here for bringing more gratitude or love into the world or healing the earth. Or maybe they're here to be teachers. Maybe they're here to be an energetic component that heals with a smile and they don't even know it. What if their purpose was something so simple like that, but so profound, and they were just content because they were actually coming from their soul's purpose and living with that rather than trying to find it. So, yeah, it just really interests me. So that was the story of when I was told I was a starseed. And I went on this manic mission to try to find out everything. Now, there is so many stories about reptilians. There's so many stories about giants and starseeds and the Palladians and light language and all of that type of stuff. There is just a ton of information, and it's definitely souping up at the moment. It's really, really, really turning up. I'm noticing it, and also the polarity. So the darkness that comes with the lightness, of course, that seems to be turning up or coming to the forefront more, so we're more aware of it. So there's a couple of things. The first thing is what resonates with you. If it's light and expansive, then that's a yes, it resonates. If it's heavy and contracted, then that's a no. Now, what are you choosing to focus on? And, focus on the light, focus on what your mission is here on earth, which is to be more of you, so to come back to you, to anchor in your heart, to know that you're enough just as doing whatever you're doing, and that you will be shown the path very easily, because you trust and have faith and lean back and know that you are divinely guided 100% of the time. Some people won't hear what you have to say because they're maybe not meant to. Maybe they're a different part, or maybe even more evolved than that. Like, honestly, imagine if the people that are like, yep, doesn't resonate, don't really care, maybe they've already been through this. Like, who actually knows? And that's why I don't like to make anything too solid. So while I do resonate with starseed, and like I remember my husband said recently, oh, so do you remember that time you thought you were a starseed? And I was like, oh yeah, I totally still do. I'm definitely from the galactic. I speak light language, but that's not serving me to live in the past. If I need to know something, I'll know it. Right now I'm having a human experience, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm here to have a party. I'm here to enjoy my body, to enjoy all of the senses and the emotions. Like, we've been given, it's like a robot which feels and tells us things. Like, we are so lucky. And imagine if we focused on that and getting this beautiful machine that we've been given. Sorry about the words, for lack of better words, but this human, it's a human. We've been given a human to enjoy. And what if just coming back to ourselves and following down that kind of rabbit hole of wonder and mystery and excitement and joy of what lights you up? Follow your own path, and those who want to come can come. Those who don't, then all good. We can still love them and accept them, and they'll do whatever they want to do. So it's kind of like agreeing to disagree. It's just kind of doing you. And who would know that going to a free energy clearing session and leaving my kids behind, which was hard because I had a little baby and I was very attached to him, and really suffering from quite deep depression. But who would know that would awaken something so deep within me? And what he actually said to me was, he said, Victoria, you're really interesting to see where you go in the next few months. Be really, really interested to see what happens from now. And now I'm a consciousness coach, a spiritual empowerment coach, a life coach, a business coach. I'm all these different things. Well, that's, underneath the umbrella of who Victoria Bond is. And it was all from someone seeing me, acknowledging me, and taking that risk and going, hey, Victoria, does this resonate with you? And then he let me be. So ever so grateful for every single person in my life who's come along and shared something with me. Just know that if you are similar and you love sharing things, or maybe you like hearing things, that whether you're sharing or whether you're hearing, it will resonate with somebody one day at some point in time. And it may not be right then, but it may be, you say something and then 5 years later someone says the same thing, and it's that thing that kind of activates and you're a part of that. And would that not be a part of your soul's purpose by making that massive difference? Even if we don't get that kind of acknowledgement, as long as we know we're making that difference in our heart and we're coming from that place of contribution, then we will always be content. And that's one thing I notice with my Release Your Blocks program. I see massive shifts happening right there in front of my eyes. And sometimes my clients can't see it. And they'll be like, why don't I get this? Why don't I get this? And I'm watching them transform. And I'm like, you are getting it. You are getting it. Just relax and receive, relax and receive. And quite often people will come to me 6 months later and they'll go, holy shit, that release your blocks changed my life. Maybe it's a year later, but certainly, the time thing is a little bit of a delusion. It's it's not very accurate, because you may get it now, but you may get it in the future, or maybe you got it in the past and then it comes back to the future, like quantum physics, like time traveling and stuff like that happens all the time. So yeah, there's a little bit of a riff about purpose as well in there, but why are you here, and who was that person who resonated with you? Who was that person who took that chance and went out of their way and even said one thing to you that activated you or triggered you or made you feel differently? And let's just throw a whole lot of gratitude on them and a whole lot of blessings and go, thank you. The amount of time I've messaged people to say, I just want to say thank you so much because you helped change my life. And I mean, it's a massive thing. It's a collective thing. Everybody has their little part. And as long as it feels light and expansive and fun and joyful, and we follow that, then we meet these people in the most extraordinary places. It could be a tree that you connected with on that moment, which gifted to you, or the earth. Maybe it was a YouTube video or a child. It doesn't really matter, really. All that does matter is that we're willing to receive it and we're willing to contribute. So who would you be today if you woke up and you said, who would I be today if I was willing to contribute and willing to receive? Who do I choose to be today? And just for today, just like they say in Reiki, just for today, I choose to be kind. I choose to be me. I choose to be love. I choose to be grateful. Just for today. It's time to let go of all of the mistaken beliefs and the limitations that we hold on to, that we attach our identity to, instead to go, what would it take to create a new identity? What would it take just to be more of me? When we smash down the ego, when we smash down the reality around us and choose something differently, it can be crunchy, it can be hard. But we can do it with ease if we ask, what would it take for me to take one step today into a more abundant, joyful, grateful me? What would I do? And one thing that I do, I'll just leave you on this because it's turned into a training. One thing that I do is I wake up and I journal. And I sit in bed and I write a couple of things down. And then I get up and I do my hair and makeup. I never used to do that, but it's something that makes me feel good. So I do that and I feel confident. I make sure I fuel my body and have some water and have a delicious coffee because it really makes me happy. And then I'll have like a shake or whatever. Like, what would I do today if I was being the best version of me in this world? The first thing I'm going to do is look after me. Of course. It's like a no-brainer. And then I'm going to say, okay, cool. What contribution can I be to the world and what can I receive from the world? And what if it was that simple? Starseed or not, I'm here for a mission. And I know that it's a really big mission and I won't give up ever because I'm here on a mission. It's like a holiday mission too. I get to feel things. I get to experience things and experience other people's points of view, and it's absolutely fascinating. So what would it take to be more intrigued and aware than to be right and correct and to find the truth? So the more I dive into that, the more uncomfortable it gets, because I think, what if I let go of all of the attachments of my thoughts, feelings, emotions, judgments, and considerations? Who would I then be? What if I was just space? What would that look like? Would I have a personality? These are the things that, half of this is I'm talking to your subconscious and it may be going slightly over your head. Other people might go, yeah, totally get it. But would it be so wrong just to have space in your mind to create and have joy? Would it be so wrong? Or would it be so right that you think maybe it's not possible in this dense reality? It is possible. It really is. Everything is possible. And the word starseed changed my entire reality. And I know I'm from the Pleiades, and I know that there's light beings around, and I know that I download and talk from them. And what a freaking amazing privilege. And I know when I meet fellow, starseeds, and I click with them, I go, hey, how's your mission going? And they're like, yeah, really great. Okay, cool, awesome. And it's like this conversation. It's like this secret society. And the truth is it's not so secret anymore. It's becoming more and more and more and more. And people will come to you to awaken because together you activate. And then all you have to do is be you. And if you get a really strong nudge of doing something, like a real strong nudge of go do this or go to that place, go do that. Because who knows who you'll meet or what would happen from that. Get really curious about life and enjoy it so much. So I'm grateful for all of those people who have contributed to me. And if you're a person listening to me now and you've been in my reality, even by listening to this, I want to say thank you, because you are such a contribution. You are here for a reason. If you're still listening to this and I've been waffling on for this amount of time, then, you probably definitely are one of my people. And let's do this together. I'm asking for all of my audience to start showing up, start contributing, start leaving a comment so then I can connect with you. Start showing up and just being a little bit different in the world. An extra smile, or just, an extra meditation, or an extra journaling, or an extra little bit of yoga, whatever lights you up, do it, because that there is your purpose and that there is your mission. And the more you align, the more you come into your center and the more you come back to you, the more clear your path will get. Okay, guys, that is my story. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will catch you soon. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you so much for joining the Release Your Blocks podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love to hear from you. So please leave a review and tell me what your favorite takeaway from today was. There is so much more from where this came from. You can also find me at Holistic Energy Shifting on Facebook, where you can find more content, more coaching, and more guidance. Have a grand and glorious day, and I'll see you next time.